St Helens 18 at Halliwell Jones Stadium in a game that was another brutal spectacle of rugby league football. What a game this one was. Darrell Clarke had to score, of course, against his future employers. A typical Darrell Clarke tries, fourth now of the season for the Warrington Wolves. We'll come back to their second half performance in a minute, but first and foremost, let's give the due that he's rightly deserved to St Helens. A 30-minute masterclass of game management at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. They were superb. Warrington, they were just shackled to their own 30 metres. They just couldn't get out there. Time and time again, St Helens just put them right back on their haunches, right back on their own line. It was outstanding game management, brilliant territory control. You've got to give St Helens a lot of credit. We've been asking all season long, can they do 5? We didn't believe that they could. I didn't believe that they could. But the more we're getting into this business end of the season, whilst it might not be as spectacular as what we're seeing from Wigan at this moment in time, you've got to give credit to St Helens. The way they're grinding these ones out, they really, really are. I think Bill Arthur in commentary said just before the end-by try, that they would probably be relieved to get out of the Halliwell Jones Stadium. Such was the comeback from Warrington in the second half. And I think even the most adamant Saints fans have got to give Warrington credit. 12-0 at half-time, totally in the box seat, no problems at all. Everybody, in the ground, possibly expecting that they would go on and win by a bigger margin. But then out came Warrington in the second half with spirit, with guile. That will please Gary Chambers and really put on a good effort against St Helens. But like I say, it just wasn't enough in the end. Saints, the thing about St Helens is, and we've got to take our hat off to them, is that they never panic. No matter what is thrown at them, they have that composure. Gary Chambers talked about composure. That's the thing we Warrington. In the attack, at times, they just lack that little bit of discipline, composure, that final ball, whereas St Helens, they'll just keep doing what they do. They stay, vigorous to the process. They don't get excited. They don't get jiggy, do they? They just absolutely stay to the game plan time and time again and execute it well, and they get the results. I have to say, when I saw the team sheet yet again, because of their lack of prop forwards, Sione Matautia put in as a prop forward in this game, and he had a brilliant game. 162 metres from Sione Matautia as prop forward from 19 carries. That's Tom Amone, Paul Vaughan standard. Speaking of Paul Vaughan, worries for Warrington Wolves in the warm-up, clearly a problem with his knee, wincing in some of what he was doing, protecting his knee. I think Paul Vaughan is carrying a knock, and that, of course, would possibly explain why in this one, his metre making not to his usual standard, only 55 metres from Paul Vaughan in this one. I think there might be a little bit of a problem there. Not confirmed, just my hunch from what I saw with a naked eye. But what I have to say as well, Curtis Sirenen, what a performance. Wellesby rightly so for his defensive display, getting the man of the match, and I can understand that. But let me tell you now, that first 30 minutes, Curtis Sirenen back from injury, what a performance. What a performance from Curtis Sirenen. How much Saints are delighted to have him back in time for the playoffs. It was both sides of the ball, but some of his running down that left edge in the first period. I talked about St Helens putting Warrington back on the haunches. Curtis Sirenen played a massive part in that one. Don't worry about that. He was absolutely superb on the night. I've got to give credit to Sirenen. Of course, him coming back meant that Morgan Knowles went back into loose forward, and perhaps one of their most informed players this season put on the bench. In James Bell. The bags of riches that St Helens have, it really is quite sobering for the rest of Super League. Do I think they'll go on and win it? I don't know. I really don't know. I think, what we've seen from Wigan, certainly over these last few rounds, they're banging points in, they're looking, as if they've got so much quality in that side, and they're playing with finesse, with flair, with confidence. St Helens playing with confidence, but just grinding results out. It really would be a fascinating grand final. I know people don't want a Wigan St Helens grand final. I said new name on the trophy this year, and you know what? I'm not giving up hope on that. I think KR will have something to say in the playoffs. I think Lee looks as if they're maybe just losing a little bit of steam. Who knows if Cattle can reinvigorate themselves in that race. But certainly for me, if it is going to be a new name on the trophy, my favourites for that at this moment in time will be with Cattle and a Hull KR. I would have to say, I think Lee running out of puff. And even if Warrington do hang on for a playoff spot, I don't see them getting to the grand final. This is a really good, strong performance. St Helens will take a lot of heart from this, a lot of confidence from this. I heard some of the players at full time on the sideline, Saints fans, talking about the atmosphere, talking about coming to the Halliwell Jones Stadium, and how much they enjoy it, and how much that was a big win. That they were saying on the sideline that was a tough game when they were talking to each other as players. A lot of respect being shown. Warrington really did put up a good effort in that second period. But St Helens are a champion team. That's the reality of it. That is the reality of it. St Helens are a champion team. They get the job done. That's what they do. Again, we're going to get a lot of talk about the referees, and all I would say is this is yet another example of why Captain's Challenge now needs to be brought into Super League like it is in Australia. There was a couple of decisions last night that, had they gone to Captain's Challenge, would have got overturned at pivotal points in the game. One for the Rugby Football League to look at that. I personally would love to see Captain's Challenge brought into Super League now. Of course, from next season, 2024, we're going to have the video at every game. Please, 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 Rugby Football League, bring in the Captain's Challenge and let's start challenging some of these decisions. These 50-50 calls, they're only human. They can only call it. I mean, we saw it in the Melbourne Storm game yesterday that Ashley Kine made a massive mistake, even with the video ref, in terms of a knock-on. Mistakes are still going to happen, but this gives the teams the opportunity of challenging if they believe there is a clear injustice against their side. What's your thoughts on that, having watched the game? Do you agree? Would the Captain's Challenge be a good addition to the Super League? I'll leave that one to you. But like I say, what a performance at Halliwell Jones Stadium. It was a spectacle of rugby league, brutal defence, great play, some nice tries. The Sivan try, the Daz Clark try, really nice. Percival took his well as well. Let's not forget Mark Percival. But yeah, good performance. This, congratulations, has to go to St Helens. They remain in third. I think points difference is probably going to win Wigan the League Leaders Shield. I don't see them relinquishing that any time soon. But no doubt about it, St Helens, as Paul Wallen said, are ready for the playoffs. That's been In the Sheds. Warrington Wolves 6, St Helens 18. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to comment as well. We'll see you next time on In the Sheds.